So dear team, today I'm gonna come again to you with a new video, and what we are learning today, we will be learning how to create recurring invoices under Oracle Accounts Payable. So recurring invoices, I'll call them AP recurring invoices. So basically, when we are creating recurring invoices, we create recurring invoices for a scenario whereby as an organization or as a company, there is invoices that you keep on receiving periodically, which has almost the same features or terms or amounts. And with this kind of invoices, you find like you can have them booked once in the system, or Oracle has a feature whereby you can be able to create recurring invoices, and once the time for that invoices comes is you'll only need to process the invoice, and you will not need to keep on booking it in the system. So that's one of the benefits of recurring invoices. And also you can set reminders whereby they can be reminding you that you need to prepare certain invoice, so that even if probably when the vendor has not provided or has not issued the invoice, you can be able to know that there's an invoice that needs to be booked or to be processed in that period. So the first thing we need to do when we are creating recurring invoices, we need to create a special calendar. Under this special calendar, the responsibility, we should know it's payables. Application is payables. Now through payables application, you can have either payables manager or payables super user responsibility, which will help you to be able to access the features for special calendar. So I'll take you to the system whereby you can be able to see the navigation. So you go to setup. Now navigation is set up. So here you can note navigation, which is set up. Then after setup, you go to calendar. Calendar, you select special calendar. So we will first of all create the special calendar. So for example, we can say we are paying postage. This is our periodic invoices we get for courier and postage. So I call it for postage calendar. Then you can provide the description as just call it postage calendar. So the other thing you're supposed to provide, after providing the name of your special calendar, you provide the number of periods. Remember, these periods are the one that you want your invoices to be created as many times as the period that you provide here. You have no limits, but mostly you will find for most organizations, you will find they usually have a periodic of 12 periods, whereby they have a whole year or the accounting calendar or reporting calendar for their financials. It has 12 periods. So here you can provide 12. Then by default, you will note here that the types of calendar, by default, the system will open the special calendar window with recurring invoice being selected. So with that, after providing the header information, that is the name and the period description and periods per year, you come in and the lines whereby you can provide the name of that is the period name. So for example, here you can say postage January. Then you provide, you can see by default the system is taking the period name and it is assigning it as the system name. Then it's not yet, it will take some part of the year. For example, we provide 2023 here. Sequence is the first sequence. You tab the tabbing, and like we have January 2023, first of January 2023. That's when the date for the first period is starting. I tab the 1st January 2023. You see the system is picking the last digits of the year and add it to as the system name. So then we go to postage, web, tab, 2023 is the year, second sequence up to 28th of February 2023. Stage on March 2023, that sequence, 1st of March to 31st March 2023, and postage April 2023, for the sequence, 1st of April to 18th of April 2023. Then you have postage May 2023 with the sequence 1st of May to 31st May 2023. Then you have postage June 2023, sequence 1st of June to 30th June, and postage July 2023, sequence 1st July to 31st July. Then we have postage August 2023. 8th sequence, 1st of August to 31st August 2023. Stage September, and sequence 1st of September to 30th September. Stage October, October to 31st October 2023. Then we have postage November 1st of November to 30th of November 2023. Postage 2023, 1st of Dec to 31st Dec. So that's our special calendar of 12 months. Once you have done that, you can just, and you verify that you have provided all the sequence, all the years, all the dates accordingly. You can now click on save or Control S. Once you see now the name of the special calendar and the period names and the year has been deactivated. There's no way you can change them the same as the system name. So once that is done, the next thing we are supposed to do, you can close that window. We have just closed. The next thing we are supposed to do, we go to our Excel. Number 2 is to define distribution set. Distribution sets. So responsibility is the same. Payables. Probably you might find you're calling it maybe payables manager, payables per user. Then navigation. Navigation is setup. Setup holidays there. So we go to setup. Invoices. Distribution sets. Setup. Invoices. Distribution sets. So we open distribution sets. Then here you can have the name of the your distribution sets. So is postage. You can have some underscore in between. Let's say maybe supplier and I call it postage services. Same case, you can copy the name of your distribution set and paste it under this description as well, and it will work perfectly. Then if, for instance, you need this distribution set to be not be used on a certain date, after a certain period, you can provide the inactive on date. So here you can just Control L and you select the date that you need under the inactive on. That is, if you want this distribution set not to be used in some future date. So once you're done with this, keep note here that when we are providing the header information, the type here is not yet showing anything, but once we start providing under the lines, you will see some information here, which I will explain later. So you will not provide for inactive one. We come direct to lines and you click on under number. By default, the system picks number 1, and then you come and provide the percentage. And the percentage here you're supposed to give for instance, if you provide percentage is 0, we have 2 types of distribution sets. One is full and the other one is skeleton. For skeleton, we don't provide any figure between 1 and above. We provide only 0. The reason is you can provide, the system can allow to provide this because once you are processing your invoice, you can manually allocate the amount you want into the account based on the occurrences that maybe probably has happened in between, and probably you don't have a fixed amount or fixed percentage that you want to go to a certain account. So in this case, the system usually have a room for you to provide 0%, whereby look at when I tab At the top, it has provided the name skeleton. So this is just a skeleton distribution set, meaning you can be able to adjust the amount on the account that you'll provide here later in future. So the other thing is about this checkbox under project related. If you happen to check this checkbox, it's all related to, if you check it if you have an account or a distribution you want to assign or to relate to a certain project information. So if you select it, you'll find like the project information will pop up, and it will enable you to provide information related to the project. For instance, I'm checking it. You see the project information icon has been activated or has become active, and there's a window which has opened for project information, whereby you can provide the project information and then click OK. But in our case, we can cancel because we don't have any project. That was for your information. So you come under account. Under account, you come in. You provide the account based on how you might feel it's related. If you have some code combination that is existing, you can directly go and select that. In our case, I don't think we have this. So we can select like that. But in most of the setup, you'll find we have enabled the code combination selection, whereby you can be able to select different code based on the nature of the organization and the nature of the invoices, the one that you are receiving. That being the case, you can provide as many accounts as possible. For example, I can add another account here. Still the percentage is 0. And I come and select an account, maybe for accrued expenses. Okay. So at the end of the day, I'll be able to have these accounts as the distribution, whereby the invoice amount will be distributed accordingly. So in this case, the other option is to have percentage value here. For example, if you provide 20, look at the type here. If I tab and come here, the second line, I provide 80. I tab. For example, before we tab or before we move on, first one is 20. I want you to see how the system will tell you once you try to save this. When you try to save, the system will give you an error telling you that the total percentage distribution for a distribution set must be either 0 or 100. So what does that mean? If you are working with a full distribution set, the other option for skeleton is full. It's supposed to be either 100% you have provided you have distributed to different accounts up to the 100%, or it's 0. So, but if you happen to try to save your work before you have hit 100%, system will tell you that you're supposed either to be having 0 or 100. So this one I'll give it to 80, and I try to save it. Control S. See now the system, the type has changed to full. So those are the two types of distribution set we have: skeleton and full. So skeleton is for the purpose of capturing data in the future, whereby your amount you may adjust it later and make it more fitting the scenario or the circumstances based on the maybe change in overheads, change in maybe different expenses, the way you have received the amount. That one allows you to use the skeleton type of distribution set. Our distribution set is ready. You can close this window. Then the next thing you're supposed to do is to create this recurring invoice template. Create recurring invoice template. Okay. Responsibility is still under payables, or payables manager, or payables per user. Then navigation. Copy this. Paste. Remove this one. Navigation event is not under setup. You need to remove this one. So navigation is invoices, entry. We have invoices, entry, calling invoices. It's just a warning, but you don't have any action, don't need any action to take any action on the error. Just click OK for sequencing. So once you open the recurring invoices window, you will get this window whereby you are supposed to provide the supplier name, you provide the calendar. This is the special calendar that we created. Supposed to provide other information under lines. This is the header level, this is lines level, and you provide the information based on the mandatory field. The mandatory fields, remember, are the ones that has orange color, and the white color, it's not necessary that you must provide the information. So in our case, we will use the supplier name, or supplier by the name Nairobi vendor. Select. By default, you will get that Nairobi vendor has, then Nairobi, the supplier number is defaulting by, once you select the name of the supplier or provide the name of the supplier, that is the site. Then at the same time, we have created our special calendar, which is postage. We will provide some initial letters of the name of the special calendar, and you tab. If it's the only one, it will automatically be selected. So number of periods is 12. We created a calendar for number of periods, and the number of periods you entered exceed the number of periods defined in this period type. It's like we defined less. Let's see. Yeah, we defined 11 periods, not 12. So in that case, there's no issue. This is for purpose of demonstration and learning purposes. So don't take it as an offense. So you can, once you provide the number of periods, the system by default automatically open the first, a field for first, whereby you're supposed to select the first period. If you open the list of value, you can see we have all there. Which period did we miss? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. We missed July. I'm sorry, July. So we select January. July is always very cold here in my place. Probably that's why I missed it. So once you select the first period, this is the period that you want the first invoice to be created. So by default, the system will be telling you that the next period that's supposed to be created for an invoice to be created is the same first period, because we have not created any invoice so far. So once you're done with that, that's the header level. You come to line level, whereby you have invoice definition tab. Under invoice definition tab, here you can provide an invoice an invoice number. For example, you can say postage 23, postage 2023. So, and maybe the currency is in USD. And then by default, the currency is the functional currency for this vision operation. Then under that, if there is any description you want to provide, you can provide. If this supplier had tax information, mapped to the site, the supplier site, you will find like it is defaulting to this field whereby we have withholding tax group, payment withholding tax group, and all that. Then we have the liability account and GL date. So once that's provided, you can come to line definition. In the line definition, we have option for distribution set, the one that we have created, and we have option for PO, that is purchase order. If you are matching with PO, you might find probably the distribution set has been provided in the level of PO, and you can just come here and select PO, and you provide the PO number here, that is number field. So in our case, we will go with the distribution set, whereby we provided for postage, and we have postage distribution set, and we have postage expense food. As someone who had created that one before, but ours is the second one. So once you provide that, it means that the amount of these invoices will be distributed to this distribution accounts or the distribution sets that we created. So, and you can be able to provide the item description, manufacturer, model. All these are, if you are interested to create such, to provide such information. Then the next tab is for amount, whereby you can provide the first amount you expect to pay the first month. And for your information, the system will calculate and give you the control. Under the control total field here down, you will find that the system will give you the full amount for all the periods, 11 periods. For example, if I provide 100 times 11 months, it should give us 1100. That's the case. I've provided 100, it has given us the same. So, for example, if you don't know, you have only the block figure, and you don't know how much you will pay per each and every period. For example, if it's 5,500, you will come and provide it here down under control total. The system by default, it will divide to 11 months and or 11 periods and provide the first amount. Let's click on tab. And it will go to the next tab for tax, but you can always go back. And you see it has provided 500 per each and every for the first amount or for the first period. And it's showing you that you have the next amount you need to pay is 500. So you can start with either based on what information you have, if it's the first amount or the total amount of the invoices. So the other tab which is important is the change. Here you might find you may need to adjust, maybe there is a percentage of change that will be occurring each and every month. For example, if it's an increment of 2%, you can provide 2% and tab. Once you tab, you can see the amount has increased. It means that there is an increment that needs to be paid in the next period. And then the same you can deduce. You can provide a negative 2% and tab. You can see the amount still has reduced. Now it's not 55, 5,500. It's just 4,981. But in our case, we will just work with 5,500. So we take it, the change, we take it back to 0. Then if you have a situation whereby you have a period whereby it will have a different amount, and you want to provide it in the, you want to capture it in the invoice. So you might provide that, for example, if it's, for example, there's a period, for example, we'd be having 200 amount, you tab. It's special because it's unique from the other periods. You need to provide, once you provide the amount under the special invoice amount 1, you also need to provide the period, which specific period is this that having this special amount. So you can select, like, for example, May. So when you are processing or creating recurring invoices, our period of May will have an amount of 200, and the rest will be having will be distributed to other 10 periods. So the other tab is about, that's all about the amounts, but we only have a limit of 2 special amounts. Then you go to tab for tax. Under tax, you can provide related information about tax. Then you have control. If you want your invoice to be approved, you can check this checkbox, approval workflow required. So in this case, once you go under the invoice workbench, you will find like these invoices that have been created, they will need to be approved, and then you can start the process of approving them. Then you have payment. Under payment, you might find you can come here and just based on the nature of the supplier agreement. Then the terms, for example, you can say immediately. Then pay group is standard, payment is method is electronic. If you want to pay alone, that you want only to print one document per payment, you say pay alone. If you want to print one document for the whole payment, you can just leave it the way it is. So in our case, and you can also provide any other information. If, for instance, you had provided a bank account under supplier level, it will default here once you select the supplier. But still, if you don't have, you can provide it here. But for this purpose of control, we usually advise that you leave this limit to bank to be to be masked in a way that no one can be able to provide an account that is probably not the one for the supplier. So that's all for the purpose of controls. Then once that's done, you can come under here and provide the number of invoices you want to create. And in our case, we need 11 because we have 11 period. Then before then, you can just save. One you have saved, it means you have created our recurring invoice template. This one is recurring invoices. Then the fourth step, the last one, is to create recurring invoices. Now you come here and provide the number of invoices you need under this field, number of invoices. Then you click on, or you hit recurring, create recurring invoices. So here you can see we have 11 invoices. And if, for instance, you use the invoice batch, this field will be open so that you can provide the invoice batch name. So once that's done, you can click on OK. And to see whether we have been able to create our invoices, we will navigate to invoice workbench and query invoice for today. So under invoices, we open invoice workbench and we click on find. today's date is the 10th of September. Let's see whether we have them. This seems like all invoices. But I think I have an idea why. Yeah, we have them here. So these are the one for we have created for postage. Postage. You can see the invoice number, and for example, we can try to validate this one. First invoice actions. Yeah, it's not validated. Let's see. So now the status has changed to validated, and because we never checked the checkbox that it requires approval, that's why here we have that. Our invoice doesn't require approval, so invoice can be paid in the normal way. So if you use the quick pay or you use the payment manager, you can now proceed to process your payment. Thank you very much, and that's all for today.